Hello everybody, Sound StarCraft here for Idra versus Stephano. That's right, it is going to be two of the most well-known Zerg players duking it out here on Antigua Shipyard. We do have Stephano, EG Stephano, spawning in the top right hand corner as the red Zerg, and as the blue Zerg, it is going to be EG's Idra. So these players, both from the same team, both play Zerg. Both are foreigners, and by that I mean not Korean, and both are two of the best foreigners. Actually, Stephano being the best foreigner, definitely the best foreign Zerg, just because he's been doing so well lately, man. He's been playing heaps of tournaments, getting really good results. He's got the win-loss ratio to prove it, and yeah, he's a pretty sweet player. So we'll see. Definitely the favorite going up against Idra, although Idra, you can never count him out, man. He has been around for a while. Very well known as he is an American player, Stephano being French. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Both players right now are on exact timings, although Idra is like 1 split second ahead there. So we'll see if both players go for a fairly heavy macro style. What happens in ZvZ a lot of the time is you'll get both players kind of going for not an early lair, but they'll get out the lair and then get the Hydralist in and put that down, because one thing about Hydras that a lot of players don't realize is that actually Stephano getting an early spawning pool, maybe Idra, yeah, Idra going for the fast expand, so the build is already going to differ there. But Hydras, man, they are really good on creep and not so good off creep. They lose a lot of speed off creep, so unless you got the creep spread, you know, most pro Zerg players don't recommend going Hydras. And that's kind of why you don't see them very often. Also, mass roaches just tend to be more effective. They do more damage. They're easier to mass up, and they're cheaper, more cost-effective unit. So you tend to see them more. But Hydras, if you are going ZvZ, you know, there's heaps of creep spread everywhere, so it doesn't really matter. So lots of players will do that. And another thing is, if you get a bunch of roaches to kind of be a meat shield in front of Hydras, then it works out pretty well. Right now, Stephano is going to be getting his first gas, though, about the same time, actually slightly slower than Idra, which I kind of wasn't. I mean, this is a very standard opener for both players here, although Stephano is going to be slightly less macro in style, as he got that spawning pull out a bit earlier. But both players, you know, still no lings on the field, so not completely, yeah, so pretty much macro for both of them. But anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, what you've been seeing from a lot of Zerg players recently, especially players like Spinishua, that's been having a lot of success, is they won't get gas, well, they won't get any gas for ages. I also saw this recently from another pro player. Can't remember it off the top of my head, but it usually works out pretty well. You won't get any gas for ages. Actually, I've seen Stephano do it a couple of times, and then you'll definitely drop down the hatchery before you get any gas. Get out the spawning pool, get out a bunch of queens, you know, even a spine crawler if you need it, if there's some sort of early aggression or something like that. Because Zerg, man, they got a lot of handy units that don't need any minerals, unlike your Protoss, where pretty much everything decent costs minerals except for Zealots. And right now these lings are going to be seeing everything Stephano has. They're kind of like sacrificial lings, I guess. It would suck to be those lings, man. It really would. Like, okay, you two, you're just going to run around the enemy's base. Okay, go. That would not be fun. Bailing Nest is going to be on the way for Stephano as well as Idra. So both players going, hey man, you know, Zerg units are a bit cheap. They don't have the most HP like Protoss, and Bailings are pretty good against units like that. So you see them a lot in ZvZ. You also see them in TvZ because they just freaking own mass marines. And there goes down his second gas. Note how he's saving this one here. Maybe in case he loses this. I don't know. I don't know what these guys are thinking in their minds, man. These guys are crazy. What's their APM at the moment? It's like, oh, EPM. It's just ridiculous. Look at that. That's not even the APM. That's the APM. Look at that, Stephano. What was he on? 300 before? Oh, man, he's just spamming like a true mofo. Both players on identical supply, though. Although Bailings, oh, is going to be able to take it. And they're all going to be coming in here Oh, they don't do any damage. Massive fail there from Stephano with his Bailings getting taken out. Not even doing any splash damage there. And there go his Lings. So, definitely Stephano lost more units there. But Idra has lost more costly units. So, it's pretty even at the moment. And Stephano has picked up a little bit in the supply. As he does have 3 more drones. And a few more Zerglings. And he is going to be getting more Bailings as well as Idra already has Bailings. So, hey. Bailings and Zerglings, good times. And right now, Idra is going to be seeing if he can move in, but this Spine Crawler is definitely going to have something to say about that. And what is going on? There's the Evo Chamber, finally getting all of his gas up and running, or almost up and running. Roach Warren on the way, and here comes Idra's Roach Warren. And is the lair? Yeah, it's almost done for Stephano. As he got his gas a bit earlier, I do believe. So he will be able to get Hydras if he chooses so. Slightly earlier, maybe Infestors. You know, we're almost always going to see Infestors just because they're such an awesome unit against all races. Isn't that sexy, man? That lair coming in. But right now, boom, baby. Just a bunch of Zerglings running around. And these yummy Bailings are going to be busting all over your Zerglings if you don't micro correctly. But Stephano's pretty good getting his Zerglings split up there. And, ooh, he is going to see the timing on this third. At the same time, his third is going to be slightly ahead of Idra's. And these Lings are going to be running for their life. Is that one going to survive? Is it? No. Yes, it is. There's Stephano's third. Yay for Stephano. Bailing speed has not been learned, though. So he's probably going to move out of it pretty soon. We'll see. We shall see. Infestation Pit is on the way for Idra. Wait. Okay, so he must have paused the game there. Anyway, there's his Infestation Pit. Isn't that beautiful? And a bunch of upgrades. Your Reconstitution. That's a handy one. So yeah, everything's pretty similar at the moment. Both players are not really, you know, bothering to spread that much creep tumor. Creep tumor. Sorry, I'm retarded. As it is not as necessary in ZvZ for pretty obvious reasons. And Stephano is going to be grabbing this gas pretty early on his third. So maybe, you know, Infestors do cost a fair amount of gas though. And so do these upgrades. So he'll probably need it. But Hydras do also cost gas as well. Obviously as their lair tech, but right now he is going to be running with these Lings. Isn't really going to be able to do much. Idra is ahead in supply though, and army supply by quite a bit. Units killed, Idra's ahead, so Idra, man, well done. You're definitely not the favorite in this, and you may be able to catch this Infestor out of position, but the Fungal does go down to save his life. So nice multitasking there by Stephano. And right now, Idra's going to be moving out with mass roaches. But Bailings are going to have something to say about that. Nice split, though. You can see this beautiful micro splitting up his army into almost 4 different parts. Not something you see every day. Infested Terrans are going to be pooped down. I'm surprised they didn't go for a Fungal, but there is such a nice concave here. It might have done very little. Oh, but the Fungal goes down there. Very nice. And it looks like Stephano is going to be able to hold off here. And if we look at units lost, resources lost, sorry. Stephano pulling into the lead there. So Idra just lost that lead he had, man. So it just shows you how, you know, one kind of mismicroed or unmatched battle can push you behind there. So you got to be very careful at this level. Not that I should be giving tips to these guys, man. I have no idea. This Overseer is going to be overseeing some shizners. So that's cool. Probably going to get taken out there. Oh, no, he's not. He's just going to be chilling on right here on the high ground. And right now, Stephano is going to be moving out. He does have the advantage here by about 14 supply. How's that for maths, brah? But this Infestor does have enough energy for a Fungal, which could quickly turn the tide if he does decide to engage there. Still hasn't got the tunneling claws. Roach, I guess that's not such a common upgrade. Anyway, what am I talking about? These roaches are just going to be moving around town, having a dandy time. Stephano decided to take his third before Idra, so he's feeling pretty confident at the moment after winning that mini battle. And most players going with the back and forth right now. Stephano does have his army split up. Idra, on the other hand, is kind of massing all of his army together, although Stephano is going to group them all over here. And Idra's going to have an overseer right there, so he's seeing all of this right now. That's Stephano's mind. This is Idra's mind. What's he thinking? Anyway, Hydras are finally on the way for both players. What I was talking about before, something you see quite often in ZvZ. This overseer is going to be checking out everything as well. Going straight for the tech right here. It's a nice rally point there. He's going to see an infestation pit, although that is not news. But the Hydra Den nicely placed over here, so it might be a bit of a surprise. I don't think, yeah, he has not spotted that. But it is kind of something to be expected in ZvZ, just because of that creep spread. It isn't going to make a difference. And if you get your roaches acting as a meat shield, it actually works out quite nicely. In terms of upgrades, we do have the 2 attack for Stephano and the 2 attack for Idra, so identical upgrades right now. So neither favoring there. Neither favoring there? I don't think that's proper grammar. Anyway, Idra is ahead on the worker supply though, but he is slightly later on his 4th base there, so he should be slightly ahead in the income. No, it's pretty even there. Slightly ahead there. I guess that's because he has more drones. 79 as opposed to Stephano's 73. Bailing on the way as well with a whole bunch of roaches. So both players going for mass roaches, infestors, and Hydras, man, which is a pretty good unit composition in ZvZ. Hence both players are doing it, because Hydras can counter you if you decide to get muters, you know. They do that whole meat shield thing, which is pretty cool. Infestors are general OP unit. Zerg always gets out. I don't think I've ever seen a Zerg game, unless they get cheesed or die in the first 10 minutes. They don't get out infestors if they go for that layer tech. I mean, maybe if you're going for a muter rush or something like that, muter harassment. But then you kind of get them out eventually anyway if you don't own your player pretty early on. Stephano is going to be moving out though, but both players are maxed out. So a lot is going to come down to this epic battle. Infested Terrans are going to be pooped out everywhere. You don't even know who's who. This is what I'm talking about. The roaches acting as a meat shield as the Hydras have a faster attack speed. Right now there's so many infested Terrans over the place, and I have not seen a fungal, although there probably has been one. Look at that sweet at-death animation. There goes down fungal all over the Hydras. Those are the units you want to fungal, and right now it looks like Idra is going to be pushing Stephano out, although he has won the mini battle over this side. So right now he is flanking Idra, although he is behind in supply, so he is going to be bailing here. Although he's still ahead in the army supply, so heyo. Let's see, basically that, it's still pretty much tied by about 200 resource making the difference there. So these players, man, are incredibly matched. It just shows you how good Idra is to be able to tango with the best foreign player in StarCraft2 at the moment. Maybe you disagree with me, but hey, I reckon Stephano is. He's definitely one of the fan favorites. Everyone loves Stephano. He's got a sweet ass droopy dog that he like chills with while he's playing StarCraft. I mean, that's awesome. How can you not love that dog? Oh, that's a sexy noise, isn't it? They make when they pip out these infested Terrans. And right now, it is going to be engagement going on here. Oh, Fungal's going down on most of Stephano's Hydras there. That is devastating. These units are trying to hold down that infestor, but he's just going to walk on by and live to see another day. And looks like Stephano better back out, but he is getting a whole bunch of backup here, but he is going to decide to back out as that engagement did not favor him. And right now, he is definitely behind in the supply with Idra almost 30 army supply in the head. Managed to get a fungal there. So it looks like Stephano, man, he's made a mistake by being the aggressor here, and that's kind of the only thing he's done wrong. Other than that, both players have gone pretty much identical builds. They have pretty much identical upgrades. 2-1 for Stephano, 2-1 for Idra. They have the exact amount of bases. So yeah, oh, nice fungal there. So all it's really come down to is the micro and who decides to engage at what time. So real kind of chess game we got going on here. Maybe, I don't know if that's a lame comparison. I reckon chess is pretty cool. Nah, man, chess is game. Screw you guys. Anyway, right now Idra is going to be getting a flank with 3 of these roaches here. And Stephano, man, he's definitely having a hard time. As these roach hydra combo, this roach hydra combo is just going to town on his units. And we may see his 4th going down here right now as well. He is going to be pulling the drones off that, kind of abandoning ship there, and I don't really know what he can do from here. He is so far behind in the army supply, 60 supply. I don't even want to look at that tab, man. That is terrifying. He does have few infestors here, but they have such low energy. All they can do is poop out infested Terrans. And right now, Idra is just going to keep marching in as he is maxed out. He does have backup coming in the whole game, and there is the well played from Stephano. So it looks like the favorite ended up losing there, and this is no ordinary competition to lose, man. This is the BWC, the BattleNet World Championships, with 100,000 place for first, $100,000 for first place. So it's a pretty serious competition. You don't want to lose it, but this is best of 3, so there will be a second game. Can Stephano come back, or will he go down to the American Idra? We shall see. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I certainly did, and I'll see you guys later.